Welcome to Women Thrive podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
Hi, and welcome to another wonderful edition of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. I am your host. I want to ask you a question today. Who is a tech nerd? Raise your hands if you like to hear about tech. I've got a real expert for you today on the show. And I always say, always say that the tech, the back end, is so important within your business. And I always say that your email list is the backbone of your business. So even though a lot of the conversations that we've had on the Women Thrive podcast has been around specific processes, strategies, maybe mindset, law of attraction, there's been lots of conversations, but actually let's get down to the fundamentals of your business. Because we're not going to have a business if we don't have all the structures in place. Tech is a big part of that. And I, for one, love to run my business with ease and flow. And that means any kind of technical automation that I can get in there is good for me. And also at Women Thrive, we are so big on that. We've got a fantastic team that support the business at the back end. So it's a very exciting conversation that we're going to have today. I want to introduce you all to an amazing woman. Her name is Julie C. Butler. She's a business owner. Of course she is. She's an author, and she also has her own podcast. It's called Build Your Beautiful Business. And she's a branding coach, and she has over 15 years experience owning and running a business. And she works with female entrepreneurs who are really ready to scale their business from the foundation, create this incredible brand that most importantly will convert more clients. And I'm sure that you can all agree that that is something that we want to do within our business, right? We want to bring in those beautiful soul clients. So we're going to have a conversation with this today with Julie. Julie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. I always love our conversations. And today it's funny because it's the reverse. I interviewed you for my podcast and now it's your turn. So I'm so blessed to be here. I'm so blessed to be on the show. You know me, I love talking all things tech. I'm a tech nerd for sure, through and through. You can often find me hiding behind my computer, doing all the things tech.
Tech nerds rock, right? Because this is about building those real solid foundations within your business. Once you get the structure right, once you get the infrastructure right, the foundations right, everything else that you grow on your business is a solid foundation. And I love the fact that within this Women Thrive podcast series, we're really talking about the way that we do business as women. Right? The collaboration, the nurturing, like all the aspects that we can bring in, building business in a different way, not necessarily the way that corporate builds it, but the way that we build it, heart-led, purpose-led, but actually with those solid foundations in place. And Julie, I noticed that there's some beautiful kind of like palm trees, maybe, well, the ferns, aren't they, that are kind of blowing in the breeze. Whereabouts in the world are you?
I'm in Costa Rica. And I call them palm tree bouquets because they're like a bunch of like 5, 6, 7 shoots of palm trees. So I don't actually know what the name is for them because there's like so many different kinds of palm trees, right? But I call them palm tree bouquets. They're beautiful. They're so beautiful. Mm-hmm.
This is what we're going to call them from now on. Every time I go overseas and see one of those, I'll be like, it's a palm tree bouquet, Julie said. Jeannie, can you share a little bit more about what you do, what your purpose and vision is in this world, and how you help
Yes.
your amazing entrepreneurial clients?
At the core of it is that I want to see and help more female entrepreneurs, more moms, more single females, or even ladies that have their kids are grown and they've gone off to live their life. It's our turn to live our life by design. It's our turn to build a business, right? And I love that what you were saying before, that building systems and automations is so important, because we build a business and we start a business not because we want to sit behind our screen for 15 hours and be overwhelmed by all the things and try to figure out how to make this business work for us and not the other way around. And so that's what I help to do. I love helping female entrepreneurs get that foundation created, like having the email list growing on the back end while you're spending time with your family at the beach or skiing or wherever you are in the world, whatever that looks like for you. Everybody's thing is different. And what I've learned recently also is that some people, if you're into human design, we love working. But what is attached to that is that you have the choice to work or to not work, right, Abby? So if today, you know what, I have some friends visiting, I feel like spending the day at the beach, well, that's what I'm going to do. But tomorrow I might spend 8 hours working because I love it so much, right? So it gives us the choice. It gives us the beautiful gift of being able to work, to truly live life by design. And that's what I've done. That's what I've created for myself and my family, right? Like we were like, you know what, we're done with winter. My husband hated his job and he was making him ill. So I said, life's too short. I have an online business that can sustain us. So why don't we look at moving somewhere warm? And here we are. So I just love being able to help women build that business, that foundation, so that they're able to do the same. Now, not everybody's dream is moving to Costa Rica, but I think you and I have similar, like you mentioned wanting to move somewhere and experience the world. So, but for other people, that just means being able to spend more time with their family or going, like we're so different and our dreams are all different as well. And so whatever that looks for you, as small or as big as it is, it can be yours if you so desire, right?
Yeah. I love that you're talking about this. I love that you just like said to your husband, come on then, let's go to Costa Rica. I mean, that's a huge leap of faith. And I always think that those leaps of faith really pay off, like massively.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. I started my business 7 years ago. And for me, it's about freedom and it's travel. I love to travel. I've traveled all through my life. And what's really important for me in my business is that I can work anywhere as long as I've got a laptop and a Wi-Fi signal. I can work anywhere. It's also really, really important that I have those automations at the back end. So if I'm on a flight and I can't connect to Wi-Fi, then or if I'm sleeping or if I'm on the beach or snowboarding, then I know that those automations are running on the back end. And also for me as well, and I've already mentioned it, my email list is really important to me because I know that even though I love, love, love being on social media, I know how amazing you are on Instagram. I love Instagram. Women Thrive Media love Instagram. But at the end of the day, so like with the social media, it can be taken away at any time, right? But if you've got your own email list, it's there, it's yours, like you can nurture it. So I'd really love to dive into that today, actually, to get let's draw out your knowledge about really building this foundation as a business. Like, what would you say are the main things that you focus on with your clients around getting that solid foundation?
The first thing you want to do before you do anything else is set up a way that you can grow your email list, right? And choose that platform that feels more aligned with you, because there are many out there, right? Like, I mean, we've got the popular ones are ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Flowdesk, right? And MailerLite. right? MailerLite offers a free plan, and I used MailerLite for a year or two before I moved to ConvertKit. So it's not about what everybody else is doing. It's do a little bit of research and what feels good for you, what feels aligned. Like I know that Women Thrive is a lot about that, like what feels aligned for you. And that's so important, right? Like it's not because someone else is doing it that you have to do it. And that's so important in every step of the way of your business journey. And so, starting to build that foundation from day one is key, right? You don't even have to have a website yet, right? Like that can be the one page you have on your website is a place for a lead magnet where you can start building your list because they are going to sustain your business throughout your journey. Your email list, like Abby, I don't know if it's the same for you, but probably I would say 95%, if not higher, of the money I make comes from my email list, right?
Always.
And we can build community inside of our email list. It's really, truly amazing.
We're all very active on social media, but I'm always bringing people from social media. If people start to follow me, I'm like, okay, amazing. We can connect on social media, but I'm bringing them onto my email list because I know then that I can nurture. And I think it's really important it's like you say, you can build up a relationship, you can build community with your email list. I see it as a living, breathing entity. Whenever I send an email, I'm just sending it to one person. I actually write my emails in my Outlook. And I always pick someone from my email list and send it to them, write it to them personally. And then I use Active Campaign. I'll put it into Active Campaign and send it because I feel like actually I might be sending one to many, but actually it is a personal message that is just meant for that one person.
And a few years ago, I remember my friend would ask me she would tell me, I feel like my emails have to be more corporate. And I'm like, no, your emails don't have to be corporate. Your emails don't have to be professional. Your email needs to speak the way you speak, right? Like as if you're talking to your best friend, right? Like just be your true, authentic self when you're writing an email. Even if you just feel like today, like sharing that you had a cup of coffee with your dogs and like it truly, that is building community, right? Being relatable and writing the way you talk. That is so key, right? Like I'm sure, Abby, I don't know if you get my emails, but I'm sure that when you're reading my email, you can hear me talking.
Yes.
Right?
And how amazing is it that you can use a platform like ConvertKit or ActiveCare. There's so many different options out there, but you can use a platform like that, but it can still feel personal because you're setting that intention before you send it out. I think that's really important actually to note.
And so what if you made a typo and you're like, oh no, I made a typo, like after it's sent, right? Doesn't matter. Like I see typos all the time. Does it bother me? Of course it doesn't, because we're human. We're not robots, right? And so I think that's so important to know too, and to remember, just use your voice.
Oh, honestly, seriously, I was looking before we came on the podcast I sent out an email and I always send a test to myself. I read it through and make sure the links. I send my own emails. I know that lots of people have got teams and things that do that. Personally, I always like to send my own emails. It's just something that I like to do. And I just realized there was I meant to put conscious change makers and I put coins change makers. And I was just laughing to myself when I sent it out because I thought, yeah, I do that. Like very often I'll send like messages on WhatsApp and there'll be typos. I'm writing quickly or I'm not like I'm just like trying to get it out. I'm really excited about something and this typos. And now I'm like I don't care because I'm not corporate and really would it matter in corporate? Seriously. It's showing like all aspects of me. I'm not perfect. I don't always get things right. And I'm sure that all the people on my list would rather see that part of me than polished and professional and kind of a little bit detached, maybe.
Exactly. Oh my God. Like Abby, you remind me because a few weeks ago I sent out an email and I think I had a flash sale on something in my business. And I put the link in my email and I put the wrong link. Like it was linking to something that wasn't working. And I'm like, oh no. So I'll send another email. And then when I linked it in the next email, it was doing the same thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? But
So you said then, before you start, even before, you don't even have to have a website, start to look at building your email list. So I've got like a CRM, a mail subscribe, like a Active Campaign or a Thrivecart or something like well, not Thrivecart, sorry. Oh my goodness. I get honestly, how many systems do we work with? I just get so
I know.
So you've got like one of those anyway.
Yeah.
Flow
I
desk
keep
or
it
whatever.
simple.
One of those.
Yeah.
So you've got that in place. Like, how do you start to grow it? Jess, what are best practices?
So for the listeners, I mean, most of us, we may have a website, but it's like, oh my God, I got to redesign the whole thing, right? Start with the lead magnet. If you have an amazing website already and you're like, you haven't started growing your email list because you're like, no, I just want to wait until my website's perfect. Stop everything you're doing and start building your email list now. And if you're building your email list, but it's kind of not really converting, then definitely listen to this because we'll talk a little bit about our lead magnet. But also maybe it's not growing the way you like to. So if you are using a email service provider, whether it be MailerLite or ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit or Flowdesk or whatever, all of them have, I believe, the capabilities of building a landing page, right? If you want, you can also use Lead Pages. Lead Pages I've never used it personally, but I know a lot of people who have. And it's a platform where you can create a really beautiful landing page this is where people, like some of you know this, some of you don't, because it's sometimes at the beginning of our journey, we don't think about this. And man, oh man, do I wish I started building my email list way before I started, right? We think, oh, we got to put everything in place before we start building your email list. No, you want to start now. So those are the handful of people out there that don't have that lead magnet and it works for them. But the majority of people will not give you their email list if you're just asking them to join your email list, right? So you need to give them something in exchange for that exclusive email address. And you want it to be good, right? It has to be a quick win for that person. Now, obviously, relevant to what it is that you are doing. And so think about your end goal. So, Abby, what is it that we want people to do in the end? So you want them to hire you for one-on-one coaching. You want them to join your group program. You want them to join your course. You want them, what does that look like, right? Like start from the end. So whatever your entry point has to be related to that. And I think that a lot of us can get into that trouble at the beginning when we have a lead magnet that doesn't even relate to what it is that we do or want to do. So now we're building an email list with people who are not ever going to be like, it's not connected. And there's some people who are very, very well established and who made those same mistakes, right? They started with something that would convert really good, but it wasn't related at all to the end goal that they wanted, right? And a lot of us know what we want. Like if you're a coach and you want someone to hire you for coaching, a lot of us know what that thing is, right? Like maybe it's not created yet and that's okay. But think about what your end goal is before. And now, what is the pain point of your ideal customer relating to the end offer? And what is that pain point? And how can you give them a quick win, a quick fix? Now, some things that are really convertible, like high converting, are like templates. Like templates are really high converting. I mean, Abby, I'm sure you've signed up for meal plans before, right? Or I mean, there's so many things. Like, think about the things that you've signed up for. And why, the reason why I say you want it to be a quick win is that you don't want them to sign up because it's free, right? Like, so at the end of the day, if you have no skin in the game. So whatever that thing is, you want it to be like, they're going to sit down and do it in like, not a lot of time, like maybe an hour or less. Right, Abby?
Yeah.
Because you want them to get a taste, a true taste of what it is to work with you. Right. And oh my God, like, I just got this blueprint from Abby and it's so bang on. I'm like, I want to work with her. What is the next thing I can get from her? Right. So you want them to have that kind of transformation, right? Like, well, if they can help me with this, like, what else can they help me with? Or maybe they can help me on a bigger scale, right? So take a few minutes now to think about something that you signed up before that really touched on what you were going through or what you needed help with. And did you sign up for something that led you to buy their course, their mini course, their big program, or sign up to be coaching with them, right? Think about that.
If I think about the way that I buy, like my buying pattern, if I lay down a high investment on one-on-one coaching or a program or a mastermind, more than likely I have had a free thing from them. I've had a taster of them. And that then gives me, I guess, I don't know, the trust and belief in them and their service and their product. It also helps me to really understand, is this person aligned to me? Do I like their energy? Do I want to hang out with them? Is it someone that's going to not just be able to help me through a pain point, but also someone that I'm really going to enjoy like working with? Because I'm sure that we can all agree that that's a really important thing, right? When we want to like the person most of the time that we're working with, right? But what I took from that, Julie, is that with the lead magnet, it's really important that the lead magnet is actually tied in to the end product. There's no disconnect. It needs to be something that's consumed very, very quickly. And it also needs to be very valuable to the person that is going to be consuming it, right?
Mm-hmm. And, I'm going to say this now. Don't be afraid to share your knowledge, even if it's in this free format, because you can consume so many free things there's so many free things we can consume out there, right? But there is nothing like working with a coach. Like, it's priceless. Working with a coach may cost you like a few $1,000s, sometimes 10, sometimes 20, but there is nothing that you can get for free that will give you that. So by you sharing your knowledge, because sometimes we get tripped up on that, right? Like, we're like, oh, I don't want to give too much free stuff because I want them to buy my thing, or I want them to hire me to be their coach. It doesn't matter. It's not the same, right? Like, I hired my coach because I wanted the accountability. I wanted the hand holding. Or if I join a program, it's because it's everything all in the same chunk that I can sit down, take the course, and I will achieve whatever that goal is, whatever my pain point was, right? So you can never, you don't want your freebie to be like everything in the kitchen sink, obviously, but don't be afraid of giving really good value in your free checklist or template or whatever it is, right? Because that's how they're going to know that they want to work with you. It's by over delivering a little bit in your freebie. They're just going to love you more for it, right? And we cannot share too much free information. They're still going to want to work with us, right?
I agree. My lead magnets are valuable. Like, they're free, but I could sell them. Like, I could create courses from them and sell them. So I agree, like, people don't pay necessarily for that information. You can Google it. Like, a lot of stuff you can get, they're paying for the experience of working with you. They're paying for that whole experience. So I completely agree with you. So I've found you on Instagram. You've gently like invited me over to your list, or to a free lead magnet. I've signed up for your lead magnet. I'm like, I like Julie. I love her vibe. Like oh my goodness, I've got so much value and it's only taken me 10 minutes to consume. What happens to me now? Like, I'm pumped up. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. Like, I'm on your list. What happens to me now? Like, how do you get me from consuming your lead magnet to then actually putting my hands in my pocket and buying something from you? Because at the end of the day, you're a business. So we're not running expensive hobbies. We want to attracting clients that will pay us. How do you kind of get to that?
So I want to go back a little bit. And when you're creating your lead magnet, don't overthink it, right? Like we do this too much, especially as women. We tend to overthink things too much. Don't overthink it. If it feels good, throw it out there. And also, you may already have something that you can use as your lead magnet. So think about the things that you have in your business and you may already have. It could be an audio. It can be like a PDF that you have that you already can just package up into a freebie. So don't overthink this process because it doesn't have to be long. And when it comes to copy, I'm not a copywriter, but I do know that you want to speak to the transformation. So important, right? Like when they land on your page, whatever you say to them is what's going to make them give you their email address. So that has to be really well written in a way that it speaks to the how am I going to, they don't care about you. They care about how you can help them, right? So make sure that that's really clear. And so if your freebie is not converting, it could just be that your text needs to be tweaked a little bit. So then once we do that, once they put their name and their email address in, you want to make sure that they get an automated email that says, hey, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you decided to grab XYZ because it's going to help you with this. But you want to continue the conversation. So you can be like, come and find me on Instagram. Like I do that, right? Like, come and find me on Instagram. I'd love to hang out with you, get to know your business more or whatever it is that you do. But you want to continue the conversation. And a lot of us, and I did this for many years, Abby, I am guilty of this. We build our lead magnet, we get them on our email list, but we don't have a welcome sequence. Yeah. Right? I did this for years because I thought I had to have the perfect website and I thought I had to have the right messaging create, even if it's only 5 emails, right? Like create a welcome sequence, nurture them because you know what's going to happen? They're going to forget about you, right? How often do you sign up for something, Abby, and you get that first initial email and then you hear from them like a year later? I'm like, who even are you? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And if I can put this in when you're sending emails out, and this is a pet peeve of mine, I get so many emails that have nothing at the top, just the email and a name. I'm like, I don't know who you are. So I'm like, you know what? Like, it doesn't take time in Canva now. We can create that email header, right? And we'll put your picture, put your headshot and a little, I'm Julie, whatever. And at the bottom, put your website. And that header can link back to your website. How many times have I gotten emails and there is nothing in there? No links, nothing. I'm like, I don't even remember who you are. Right. So we want to make sure that we add that to our emails. I think anyways, personally, I liked adding that and I like receiving emails that had like Women Thrive. I get the header, I know who it's from and the signature. It's all in there. So if I'm new to your world and I get your second or third email, I'm not going like, who is this again? Right. It's so very clear and it's so beautiful too. Right. Like we can create that stuff in Canva. Anyway, I digress. Back to the email list. If we have like a 3 email even or 5 email nurture sequence, and of course it doesn't have to be like complicated or super like, oh my God, like I have to say this and how am I going to, don't overthink it. You know what? One email can be like, the first email can be like, here's my freebie, have fun with it. The second email can be like, couple days later, hey, how are you enjoying said freebie? I just wanted to check in to see if you had a look at it. And by the way, a little bit about me, right? Like it's okay to introduce yourself. And then the third email, you want to nurture them some more. So is there anything else that you can serve them, right? Like give them tips and tricks. And this could be, you can pull that out from an Instagram post. You can pull that out from social media, from a blog. You can share, like if you have a blog and you have some favorite posts that people like, the most popular posts, share those with them. Just link them. That's an easy email to write, right? Or if you have a podcast, share the most popular episodes, right? Serve them. And then the fourth and fifth email, similar, right? But then don't leave them hanging, right? You have to, I think it's important for us as entrepreneurs building a business that we communicate with our audience. I truly believe that once a week is going to help you grow the business that you envision for yourself, right? I think that once a month is too little, but you, of course, you do what is aligned with you. That's very important. But I think that if you want to grow the dream business that you have envisioned for yourself, it can be a little bit overwhelming at the beginning, but you know what? It's with anything, practice makes perfect. Like it becomes part of the routine, right? Because then when you're ready to sell to them, they're going to know who you are and they're going to know what it is that you do and what you have to offer, right? So,
Yeah, I agree. And I think, well, I know a really good way to just look at that in real time is to check in with like your favorite person that you follow online, for example, go over to their website. There should be something either on their link tree, on social media, on their website that offers a free gift, and just sign up for it and see what happens. See how they connect with you, see how they start to nurture you. What's the lead magnet that you really love to share that we can kind of give a real life example with the audience?
yes. And I'm going to actually go here and grab it because I just recently changed it. I've been using, and legit, like you create like lead magnet and it can work for you for years to come.
Yeah.
For years, right? And so I had one and I've recently changed it. So I'm looking up at my screen here. So juliecbutler.com/grow-your-list. And I'm sure you'll put that in show notes, right?
Yeah, it's going to be down below, so you can just click on it there. Yeah. Great.
And this is Abby. This is my workbook to help you create an irresistible lead magnet that converts.
Well, there you go then. It's so aligned.
Yes. And so by downloading this, you can see how I've shared, and you can use that as inspiration to do it yourself on your end.
Yeah. I have to say, get yourself over to that and you can start to see the emails that are coming in, the vibe, see what you like, see what you don't like, see what you resonate with, you don't resonate with so much. What would you like to apply? We're not talking about copying here, but we're talking about being inspired, right? Look at the structure. How does Julie create that structure? And also, like, seriously, the back system of Women Thrive, oh my goodness, it is like, it's like something else. It's like another world and it's amazing. So this is another really good example of Women Thrive. If you're not already on the Women Thrive email list, then go over and just see what happens when you start to interact with us at Women Thrive and see the emails that are sent to you in the way that it's kind of like, it's just a little introduction and just little ways that you can get to know us more. And it's really interesting just to detach yourself from being in that process and actually start to look at it from a strategic way. Like, okay, I really like the way that they've done this. How can I incorporate that into my lead magnet? And how can I include that in my welcome list? I love it when I get emails and I get to see people's best works. So it might be like a favorite podcast that you send your subscribers to, or it might be a talk. It might be a favorite social media post, a meditation, like just things that really give value. So like you say, Julie, instead of you being like, who is this person? I don't even know who they are. Like when the email comes through, it's like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm getting it from a friend because I feel like I really know you.
Mhm. Yeah. Especially too, like some of us have a business name and sometimes we don't use our name for our business name. And so sometimes it's hard to retain that, right? Because you know, the stats, like our brain processes so much in a day, right? We can't retain that information. So sometimes we sign up for a freebie and we're like, oh, this is going to be so good. And we sign up for it. We've already forgotten who it's from, right? Like you're just thinking about the thing and what it's going to help you to achieve. And so when you get the email and there's no real indication of who it's from, you completely forget about them, right? So I think that that's really, really important.
Yeah. Yeah. That happens to me a lot, actually, on a very,
Mhm.
I don't even know who you are. Like, why did I sign up? But yeah,
Unsubscribe. That's what happens.
exactly.
Unsubscribe.
And that's why I love what you said, like really just remind people every time you send out an email, remind people who you are. You can just remind them by having that banner at the top, your image. Like people remember faces sometimes more than they remember names.
Mhm.
Having links at the bottom of your email, having a PS at the bottom of your email, just to kind of get people to re-engage with you.
Yeah.
I could talk about
And Abby, I know, you know, the algorithm, you know how the algorithm works, right? So chances are the person who's signing up for your thing maybe has signed up for 10 other things similarly, right? So you want to stand out in their email box.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this subject so much. I get really passionate about tech because I love tech because it supports me. It supports all of us. So it's been so amazing to have you today sharing this knowledge. We could talk about it forever. But if people want to know more, they need to go over to your website. And please remind us of your website again, Julie.
Yes, it's juliecbutler.com.
Amazing. So
And the freebie link will be in the show notes so that you can see my workflow. You can see how I've set it up and definitely like that's what I do, right? Like Abby, you do the same thing. We study how people do things and then we be inspired and take some and leave some, right? Like I like how they do that. And obviously we never want to copy. We want to be our own person, right? And just be your true authentic self and don't overthink it.
yes, really. Yeah, keep it simple.
Mhm.
Julie, you're going to be speaking on our summit. Now, dependent on whether you're watching this and listening to this podcast way in the future or kind of maybe a few weeks from when we recorded this, is dependent on whether you're going to go back and listen and watch Julie's talk or whether you're going to be joining us live on the summit in March. So, Julie, please, can you share just a very short snapshot of what you're going to be talking about on the Women Thrive Summit?
Well, if you loved this episode, you have to watch my talk because now I am going next level. I am going to teach you how I grew my email list by 7,000 plus people in 1 year without paying for ads by leveraging online events. So you can grow your email list with the right freebie. And so now I'm going and I'm diving deeper into that. How can you grow your email list significantly by leveraging online events? It's going to be so good. It's very actionable as well. So I'm excited for you to join us and to definitely take a peek at my training.
Fantastic. And again, all the links will be in the show notes below for you to join us on the Women Thrive Summit. You can click the link below and that will take you through that. And we'd love for you to join us live. And I think that this has been a really lovely little taster, or a big taster actually, of what's in store for when we watch and listen to your talk. Julie, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, for listening. We really, really love to have your feedback. So you can always contact us here at Women Thrive. You can also reach out to Julie And if you've got any questions about what we've been discussing today, then we're more than happy to answer and assist you further. Have an amazing day, whatever you're up to, and we will see you soon on another episode of the Women Thrive podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.